Good morning, everybody here. Welcome to Trading Within the Box here on April 26, 2025 here. And we're going to go over a week review here of the stock market. But first of all, this is not a recommendation to sell, trade, hold any stocks. This is a educational video only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional or the brokerage house of your choice, and they will help you there. It's an educational video only, and let's get to it. So, the S&P 500 this week, okay, so let's go over to the monthly chart. So this is what we want to do. We want to show you what's exactly happening here with the big, broad picture, which most people aren't going to show you. Okay, so here's the monthly chart, and each one of these candlesticks is 1 month at a time. So we got the stochastic with the pressure to the downside. Okay, we're in the 2022 crash or correction or whatever you want to call that. What happened? Okay, we did get these monthly moves, and they tested support, and then they came back up, and then they moved down again. Okay, so that reached all the way to the bottom, and then we had the massive run, okay? And that's what happened when we started turning the other way with the monthly chart. Now, with this situation here, okay, this could continue to keep going down. We could get a pop to the upside, and then get an M formation on the monthly chart, and then keep heading down, okay? Or we can get to that point. Now, we have a huge capitulation hammer here, candlestick, right? So it's not green, but it's pointing to where the support area is. Okay, that's pointing to support. Now, this could turn this way if we get a few months to the upside. It is very possible. It happened here, right? When we were coming down and we turned and we had support, and then we had the engulfing, and then we broke in that spot right there. So that could very well happen. We have a massive, the longer, see, we get a monthly close with this hammer here, okay? You'll see the longer the stick is, a lot of times the longer it will go up. But we have to see what the news is going to be, the news cycle, with the tariffs and all that. So that's going to be something that we are going to continue to watch, because remember, we have a weekly heading up. Now, with the S&P 500 here, you have the weekly chart heading up, okay? So you're in a snapback here on the weekly chart. Let's see what happens here. Now, remember, this week, the volume fell off from 2 weeks ago, okay? But watch the W formation on the weekly chart. Look at that. But we are slamming into, remember, you have overhead pressure here with the 50-day moving average, the 20-day moving average, and you got a beautiful W formation here with the right side higher than the left side, okay, and we retested with lighter volume on the daily charts, okay? So that's something always to remember, to go through all your analysis to find out, to try to decipher what's happening. Now, here on the daily chart, let's look at what's happening here, okay? Now, we could be getting something like this, and we're hoping for something like this, okay? We're hoping for this, and this. It is leaning, which is not as good as the other head and shoulder patterns, but when it leans, it could be a little bit to the upside, and then we get the failure, okay? So now remember, this is human behavior. That's what we're doing. We're following trillions of dollars here with human behavior, and that's what this is all about. So with the S&P 500, as the weekly's heading up, we do have overpressure here right at 555.42. Let's see if we start to get good earnings here with the tech stocks and all that stuff. So we had some decent earnings here recently on some things here, and we're hoping that the big dogs like Microsoft and them have good earnings, okay? So that's the story with that. Let's go over to the 3 Qs, and we'll continue to keep watching the futures to see also what's going to happen too. So that's what we've been doing all week. We're watching the futures, okay? Now, when you look at the Qs, which is the NASDAQ, you'll get the line chart, and you'll see with the beautiful W formation. Now, you have an incredible W formation here, but this could fail. It doesn't mean because you have this incredibly beautiful, clean, with the right side higher than the left side, that you could slam, or you could get up and above and then fail. Okay, that could very well happen. We're going to see as we keep following the news cycle, what's happening? Okay, now look at that weekly chart with the weekly stochastic heading up, and we're in the sweet spot. Now that's a good sign. We have the W. Okay, bad signs. We have the pressure with the moving averages. Okay, we're still not being supported yet. We still haven't gotten up and above yet. Okay, XLF. Let's go over to the banks, because the banks a lot of times lead the way. And what happened here with the banks? Now let's go to this is a weekly chart. Remember, this is a line chart, and we're slamming into the 50-day, the 20-day moving average. Okay, so we got underneath the 50, and now we're slamming into the 20. So as we continue to look at this, we say to ourselves, we know that we're in this area with lighter volume now. Now, the only reason why this volume kicked up here is because we had that massive week of volume on the week of April 7th here, okay? So that's what we're looking for. We're going to be looking for, on the daily chart, what's happening now. On the daily chart, we're slamming into the 50. Now, the last few times that we went up into that 50, what had happened? We went up, we failed. We went up, we failed big. We came up to the 20, we failed. Okay, so we're still weak here because we can't get up and trend change here. Okay, now we have failing volume here. Okay, that's not good. So you're going into the roof with the 50 pounds of bricks over your head, and you don't have any energy. So let's say you have a jackhammer and you're trying to break through these ceilings. Okay, and you have no energy, and the jackhammer only has 20% of the charging. Let's say using whatever we're doing, hypothetical here, and you only have 20% of the energy to get through here. Okay, here you have maybe 15% of the energy. How are you going to get through that area? Okay, that's the thing. If you had the volume kicking up here, and it was kicking up, and you had 70% of the energy, boom, we can get above that. Now, we can get above it with lighter volume. We could, if we get some good news here. Okay, so that's what's going on with the XLF. Now, the SMH, which is the semiconductors, okay, same situation here. A little better volume, though, than the banks. Okay, the banks don't have good volume now in the daily chart. But the semiconductors have decent. But, again, what's happening here is we're going right into that 50-day moving average, and that could be a problem, okay? So we go to the IWM, which is the small caps, which is most of the business, the small business in the country and world, and this is a problem. Now we have weakness on the. Let's go to this here. Move this out of the way a little bit. So we go to the weakness of this, and this usually leads the way first of which way we're going to head. Okay, so the problem here is, let's see the peaks now. We do have, let's say we had one peak. You want to call this 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So that's the fourth peak. And usually the fourth peak, look at the volume coverage. That's a lot of covering, which is a good sign. You want to see a lot of covering, because that means that a lot of these guys thought that this was the end of the downward trend, but we don't know yet. Now we're up and above. We don't want to get the breakout and then the failure, so that's a bad problem to have. You want to come up, the volume gets ugly. So what happens is, when the volume gets ugly, look at this void right here, as we were going straight into the resistance area. Okay, so you don't want to see that. When we go in, let's say we get up to the 50 of this spot here. Okay, let's get a little thicker here. Okay, we go into this spot here, and then boom, we have no volume going down, so I guess it's all the way overbought, and then boom, we fail again. Now if we fail and we stop here and then we start trending up, that's a good sign. So that would be a pullback. Okay, so that's what we want to see on the IWM. Let's do the analysis on the weekly chart on the IWM, and we do have a little ways to go here. Okay, we're teething up into this area here with lighter volume. Okay, but let's see what happens. Okay, that's going to be another one to see what happens. Let's go over to the stocks now. The all-world Microsoft, as we always do. We want to see what's happening. Now, watch Microsoft here. Now, watch the weekly chart with the stochastic, okay? Now, I know a lot of people say that the stochastic, doesn't really work, and that's not the. But the weekly chart dictates a lot of times. So we are in a sweet spot and we have a ways to go. So this could be, we got to get past this mesh right here with a 20 across the 50, okay, which is very bad, okay, for the pressure to the downside. Now this could stop and then we go and we start heading up here. Now let's see what the earnings are going to be. And remember, write it down in your book, okay? We do have earnings on April 30th, okay? So that's going to be very important for Microsoft to see what's going to happen, because that could turn the tide here, okay? Now with Microsoft, you can turn the tide. How? Because look where you are on the monthly chart. You're so oversold, okay? Look how oversold you are on the monthly chart. Now, if we get this candlestick here, okay, on the monthly chart with Microsoft, I'll show you, and we get a little more buying over the next few days, next 3 days, let's say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we get this beautiful beauty that held the support area, okay? It pointed to the lowest support right there, okay? And this is a monthly chart. Remember, each one of these bars is 1 month, and then we start turning up, and then look at that monster, okay? That could be an incredible sign for Microsoft. That's what we're looking for, okay? We want this thing to turn. We want the monthly to turn up, okay? So we do have a little bit of a better sign that we did, let's say, a month ago, right? So we weren't doing well, and we were worried about that situation. Now, when we go to the weekly chart, or we go to the line chart, we have a beautiful W formation. But this could be, and I've seen this happen before, this could be a sideways consolidation, okay? It could be going like this for a little while, okay? Now, it happened when you look back here, and it did happen here for a little while. Remember, we had from August 5th of 2024, and it was to December 9th, we had this sideways move, okay? Now, we could be getting that down here, too. You never know, okay? So we did have this sideways move, so that was... that lasted a while, okay? It did last a while, okay? Now, one good sign on the daily chart, but we do have decent volume now on Microsoft. So that's a good sign, because look at the volume right here. We have decent volume, but we're smacking, we get up and above the 50-day moving average. We closed over the 50-day moving average, which is very good. That's another good sign, okay, with Microsoft. Now, let's see what happens when we get to 395.95. Okay, we got a major support area, resistance area right there. Okay, do we come back and then we start catching up here and we start uptrending? We get above this area and then we start uptrending. That'll be a different story. Okay, with the monthly locomotive behind you, behind your back, you'll have all the wind you need to go through that, and we'll see, and we'll keep watching the volume. Let's go over to the 2-hour chart, like I always love to do with Microsoft. That's 3 hours, sorry. Let's go over to the 2-hour chart with Microsoft, and let's see. Now, with Microsoft, look at the volume's pretty decent. It's not great, by no means. You had excellent, outstanding volume here, okay? You had outstanding volume here in this area, because of that spot right there, okay? So that 360 to 370 range, okay? Now, the volume started to die, and then we started to move back. Now, we had a retest with a higher right side of the W right there, right in that spot. Now, it came into the big volume area, and we had the price rejection, okay? So that was a beautiful price rejection. That's what we wanted. We wanted to move back with lighter volume, and we did. We came off the support area, and we had the price rejection, okay? And that's what we wanted to do. Now, we came up. We came back. Now, this is a step-up pattern with an engulfing with increasing volume, not great. But then again, yesterday, a little more increasing volume. We had the sideways, and then we came up a little bit. We broke it. So let's see if we can hold it. Okay, let's see if we can hold it and break this spot, and then get into the 395 or the 404 range. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. That's what we want to do. We want to keep stepping up. Okay, and that's the story with Microsoft. Okay, let's go over to the big dog, Amazon, and there's nobody bigger, right, in the retail sector, right? So let's go over to that one. Now we go over to the weekly chart, and let's look at the line chart first, and look at that gorgeous W formation. That's a retest W on a weekly chart. Now, you have overhead pressure again, okay? We still have the overhead pressure. Remember this, though, okay? I want you to all know that on Amazon, there is earnings on May 1st, okay? So May 1st has earnings. Okay, so you got to be very careful here, okay? If you're in this for a longer term situation, you want to look at the weekly, so you know you have overhead pressure at 193 and 199 to 200. Okay, you're at 188.99. Let's go. That closed. That's what the close was. The aftermarket was up a little bit. Okay, so we have a spindle here on a monthly chart here. So we have pressure to the downside on Amazon right here. You see it? Okay, you have pressure to the downside on Amazon, okay? So that's something that we're going to have to keep watching, okay? Let's see. That could be just taking a break. I don't like the monthly heading down with that much pressure in the sweet spot, okay? That means that the weekly could be pulling up. And then, although we want to see, we do have good volume on the weekly chart, and we're not out of the woods yet, but once we get up into here a little bit, we get a little higher, we can have the weekly right into the sweet spot. So that's what we want to try to get with Amazon. Now, with Amazon, we do have, let's go over volume analysis, okay? On this past week, we had 248, roughly 248 million shares, okay? Now, we're going into this candlestick from March 24th with 185. So remember, 248 going to 185. The down pressure from March 3rd was 252 million shares. With 248, so that's where the pressure is. So the pressure is right in this spot right here, where the moving average. You got to get past this. Got to get somehow break above. Get some. We do have good volume. We want to get past that area. Okay, we want to try to get into this spot right here. And where is that spot? We want to try to get into the 218 range. Hopefully, let's see what happens. Okay, we're gonna have to follow, and we will follow on the 2-hour chart. We always like to follow on the 2-hour chart because we could see the trend, okay? The 15-minute and the 10 minutes, those are more for day trading. But these are more position trades, when you're looking at. You get into the resistance, you can pull the profit, you can get back in. Let's say we did. We get into the resistance area, pull the profit off. We can get back in with a lighter amount of shares. We get the engulfing move. And then we're back in again. We get up into the resistance area, pull it off. Now we're at support again, and pull it on, and then we take it off at resistance. We do have decent volume here, okay? Decent volume, okay? So that's what we're going to be watching with Amazon as we continue to keep going here. Okay, so now let's go to Apple. And Apple, here's another thing. Now I want to show you this. Now, first, let's go to weekly chart because we're doing a week review, right? We're in the sweet spot. Now, with Apple, it failed when it got up into the sweet spot. It failed. Now, it does mean it could come up and fail again here and then start heading down again. You had a massive volume right here, and that's a reversal right there, okay? Now, we don't like those once we get up because they do come back to retest them. Now, we do have a massive volume area in up in this area at 220, where are we at? 221 in that range, okay? And we have another big one right here at the high of 233, okay? So, but we have a lot of work to do first before we get up there, okay? Right now, we still have the downward pressure, and it's right there. See it right there, okay, where my arrow just went, okay? Now that's a weekly chart, okay? We want to know when the earnings are May 1st for Apple. So it's another thing we want to know. Now, Apple, there's another problem that's not good. Look at the massive volume here and look at the volume tapering off, okay? So you do have steady volume in that spot, but yet a lot of volume tapering off. But, that's kind of where a little lower than the average volume for Apple, okay? The average volume is up here somewhere, okay? So we do have the 50-day moving average. Let's see what happens when it slams into it. That's what we're going to see. That's what we want to see. At that point, in that spot, maybe the earnings are there and we can get a little bit of a boost for what the future of Apple is going to say, That's usually what happens. We want to know what the future is going to be, okay? We go into Meta. Now Meta got rocked, okay, as we all know, okay, and we have to just live with it for now, okay. And we point now with Meta, okay, we are way into the sweet spot for the long-term short, okay, for the monthly chart heading down, okay. So with Meta, we had support right here. This could be a break. We start maybe heading up. Hopefully, it's got some bad news lately, and then we got to see, because this is not good. Okay, if it was all the way down here somewhere, and then we started heading up, that's a different story. Okay, but this is not good right now for Meta. Now with Meta, let's get over to the stochastic here. Let's go over to the weekly chart. Okay, now on the weekly chart, we're still not out of the woods. Now, with Meta here, we have trading within the box here on the weekly chart. We're right here. Look at this. Now, this is a sideways consolidation on the weekly chart. There's a cluster. Okay, what are they going to do here? Is this going to be a sideways and then boom, we're going to get rocked? Or is this a sideways and then we're going to start breaking out? Now, that's all going to depend on also the bad news, okay, that's going on with Meta, okay? So, with what's going on here, and obviously the earnings are on April 30th, and that's going to be a big, factor in what's going on. Now, we do have the 50-day moving average at 575, 576, in that range. So, let's count the peaks. Okay, this is on the daily chart. We have 1, we have 2, we can call this 3, and we can call this 4. And now we could be getting this kind of situation here, where we get the squeeze play with the pennant formation. Okay, see the pennant formation. So we could get this, we get this back, or we can get this to pop up. Okay, they got the squeeze play coming. Okay, let's see what the immediate verdict is going to be. Right now, this is actually a good sign with Meta. Okay, so we got the volume doing pretty decent. Okay. That's pretty good. So like on the 2-hour chart here, we have maybe a little room to 580, okay? So right here, because we have some decent volume, we have increasing volume. See the increasing volume going up. Okay, we have sideways, and then we want to see an engulfing just like we saw here. And that's how we'll follow it day by day. We'll start to see it breaking down, which we're hoping not right now. Okay, we're hoping not right now. Now, Costco had a beautiful formation last week. And let's look at Costco. Okay, so on Costco, let's go to the monthly chart because we want to see the 40,000 foot view first. And we did have that monthly stochastic pushing down a little bit. We do have fantastic volume on the monthly chart. Let's see if we can get a monthly close in the green. And on the weekly chart, we have we're in the sweet spot for a move to inch up and teeth up into this area. Now, we don't know for sure. We do have, now let's do volume analysis on the weekly chart on Costco. So the week of April 7th, we had 20.19 million shares, okay? So now we're into the candlestick from March 3rd. And that had 14.96 million shares, so 20 million. So we already had closed into that area, and then we had 9.25 million shares. Okay, then we had some profit taking up in this spot here. Okay, so we had some dividends coming here too. So we have right here going into this spot. Now we want to try to test the top of that candlestick. Now the close on the week of March 3rd. Was 964.31. Okay, we're at 977.16 right now. Okay, we want to get up into that area. We want to get up into that ceiling. Okay, once we get up into that ceiling, then we're really going to see. Well, we're hoping we're going to get up into that ceiling. We do have decent volume, and we are riding the rope right now on the daily chart. Now, on the daily chart, this is actually a pretty good sign here. Okay, we have the higher lows. See, we have the higher lows. Okay, we have. One peak. We got 2 peaks. We come back. We want to break this area. So with Costco, we want to break this area right here. See this spot right here, right where you're at. Well, you're a little bit below it. So we got to get energy. We got to get that volume to kick in to get that up. Okay. That's what we're going to need. Going into a gap area. And once you get into that gap area, you want to see if you could fill that gap. Now, right now, you didn't fill it yet, okay? So you got that pressure area. That pressure area is right here, okay? Right in this spot, right there, okay? Look what this is, okay? Now, let me show you what this is, okay? Look at this. It's another pennant formation, right? Well, I went too high, but you can see it right there, okay? You can see the whole spot right there. We're getting a squeeze play here. What are we going to do? We're going to get it when we get into this resistance area. Can we pop it? Okay, that's what we're looking for on Costco. Okay, so on GEV, okay, GEV. Let's go to GEV. That was another one that we've been looking at. And GEV had a beautiful recovery. Now, let's look at the monthly chart here. Okay, now on the monthly chart, look at GEV. Okay, going into this spot. Now on we need a little more volume, but on January, we had 86.8 million shares going into it with 80 so far. So we want to be able to go right into that 419, 415 or whatever area. Let's go over to the weekly chart, and we're in the beautiful sweet spot. Okay, we had the earnings came in nice. We had a beautiful look at this. Now watch on GEV. Look at this beautiful situation here with the W formation heading up. We want to get it up to that all-time high. Let's try to get it up to that all-time high. Okay, once we get up in that area, we're going to unload it. Okay, so because we took a hit on this one. Okay, we took a monster hit on this one. We were down to where's the low here? On April 5th, we were down 252.25. Okay, now we're at 372, and we were up almost $12 the other day. Now we're heading towards, we're making a beeline to that 390. Okay, 389 range. Now that's a heavy area of pressure, though. Okay, just letting everybody know. If you do have this, you have a heavy area of pressure right here. We do have it. Okay. So right in that spot. Okay, so we're going to have to look really closely there in that spot. How we will know, obviously, and everybody, the whole world knows that watches me, knows that we're going to keep watching that 2-hour chart. And look at that volume, man. Look at that volume coming in here. Look at that volume. Look at that volume coming in here. That's what you need. That's the energy you need to go up. You're riding the rope, okay? So that's what you need on GEV, and that's when you get excited when you look at these, okay? Now let's look at Shake Shack, okay? We're going to go over to Shake Shack, and Shake Shack is, we're going to have to wrap this up soon because we're running very late here. Let's go over first of all, let's go over the weekly chart. On Shake Shack, okay, let's try to get this stochastic squished. Shake Shack, we are getting into a range where the weekly, so we got earnings. Hopefully earnings are good on April 28th, and that's on Tuesday. And we do have a nice W formation on the weekly chart here, okay? So we want to see what's going to happen here if we can get this thing up, at least up into this 100 area, okay? So that's what we're looking for, okay? We're looking for that, okay? We have decent volume coming in here. High right side W, okay, then the left side. So, okay, let's go over to Uber now. Now, Uber, let's show you something here. Now, Uber has, look at the range. Now, I want to show you this is a weekly chart. Each candlestick is weekly. Trying to run quick here. Higher low, higher low, higher low with a buy signal. Okay, right there. Okay. Now you're in resistance, okay, at 77.75, but 79.93 in that resistance area. Now, you want to see this volume. You got to follow this on the 2-hour because you got to know where you are. First, let's go to daily quick. Daily, okay, we know we got overhead pressure at 81.70. 2-hour chart, quick. What do? Okay, we have a pullback on the 2-hour chart. We're getting ready to reload, hopefully. Okay, everything's hopefully, okay. Now, we do have good volume here. Look at the volume on Shake Shack, on Uber, I'm sorry. You get up and above, you break that area, that little resistance spot. You come back, you want to hold the support, okay? Now, the next thing is you want to go to the next level, which is 80.76. Let's see if we could. Now, we do have some profit taking here, okay? So keep a close eye here. We have some profit taking. Of course, you went into resistance, they're going to take profit, the smart money, okay? Retail traders are not going to know. Okay, TDG. Okay, TDG, what do we got going on here? Now with TDG, which is a very expensive stock, okay, the TransDigm Group, okay, look what happened. Now this got hammered. We have this one, okay. So on the low of on April 7th was 1183.60, okay. Now we had a nice buy signal there, okay, weekly, okay. We have a weekly heading up, okay. We have earnings on May 12th, okay. So let's see what's going to happen here. Now we got this going on. We have a little bit of a sloppy mess. We need to pull back, okay. But we have beautiful, gorgeous volume, okay. And that's what they have, incredibly beautiful volume with a weekly heading up, okay. We have that beauty and we have this beauty right here, okay. That's a good sign, okay. That's a good sign. Now we want to see if we can get back up to this 1488. That's what we're looking for, okay. We're looking for that 1488. We got 2-hour chart. Survey says, as the great Richard Dawson used to say, now we're going into this sell area here, okay? The only thing is, we do have good volume, okay? And we have these little dojis, but we had a capitulation. So that the sentiment is hopefully to the next level at 1393.59. So that we're going to see Monday. We'll know that Monday. And now we're getting into the nitty gritty of this video. We're almost done. Let's go over to GLD with the gold market. And now the gold market pulled back, okay? Now, with the gold market, let's go to the weekly. Now, the gold market looks like we got a little bit of might be getting a little bit of a pullback here, okay? So, daily, okay, pulling back, okay? And daily pulling back to the support area, okay? But what do we have? We have more profit taking in this area, okay, for gold, okay? Let's go over to, we didn't do Google. We had to look at Google because Google had earnings and the earnings were good. Okay, and we got up into the 50-day moving average. Let's go over to the weekly chart because that tells more of what's actually really happening. We got the W. Look at the gorgeous W right there. We got the, I'm sorry, let's go over there. Okay, we're in the sweet spot. Now we're slamming into resistance here at 170, okay, in this 170 area. Let's see what they're going to do. Go over to two hour. We want to watch the 2 hour, okay. Now, 2 hour, we have profit taking here, okay? So we don't want to see this stuff failing here. We want to see profit take, but then come back up and then shoot back up. So why are they taking profit? Because we have the overhead pressure, okay? Now, let's go over to UUP, which is the, sorry, I got rid of that, the dollar. And dollar looks like it's just covering a little bit. But what's happening with the dollar is we're sinking down into this. We're right at the support level. So it looks like we're going to get a pop to the upside with the dollar, you know, for a trade. We're still not in good shape. Let's look at the 20-year Treasury bond, okay? And that's the weekly chart. And with this is still lagging down on the low side here. Weekly's heading down. We got downward pressure a little bit right now. Let's go over to the monthly because we've got to keep an eye on the bonds, right? And the bonds are still, you know, lurking down, you know, so like they're not really shooting up on the 20-year right now, okay? Let's see, when we had from April 22nd, what was that, April 22nd of 24 to September 16th, we had a little bit of a run from the TLT. We were down to 88 and we got it all the way up to 101-ish, okay? So we got to keep an eye on the bonds. With that said, one last thing, the Dow Jones, the weekly is in the sweet spot heading up, but we have the downward pressure. So if they're really careful at 41,352, and then downward pressure here at 41,747. So let's see what they're going to do, okay? With that said, I want to thank everybody for coming. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Everybody have a wonderful week, and be careful in this market because one little bad news, we're going to be going down again. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a rally here coming up here, okay? We're going to talk about the late April rally, hopefully into the beginning of May rally, which we're hoping for, okay? Have a wonderful day.